Here we see the main menu of the business system, and in here we have different modules that are visible on the screen. So for example, sales, CRM, website, manufacturing, inventory. They provide granular access to different functionalities, so individual employees of a company, they could be given access to a specific type of functionality. For example, somebody working in the warehouse for shipping and receiving, they could only see the inventory module and perform all the operations there, whereas a salesperson might only operate in sales and CRM modules. But to understand how an all-in-one system like this works, we must start by taking a look at the data behind it. So the product data is the critical component of how things work in here. Let's start by looking at that in the inventory module. I have multiple products that I have set up for this demo. So you could see that there are these plastic bins, some fans, shelves. Then there are these same shelf assemblies but without bins, no bins. And then there's some bolts, wheels, and some other parts that make up these shelves. You can see that some of these things, they are fabricated items, and some of them are just raw materials. So there's steel sheets, metal tubes, and then in addition to that I have these 6-foot metal tubes in here that are purchased, and they are purchased from a specific vendor, Techie Tech Supplies. They have a price, so $25.50 is the price that we buy them for. There's a part number and a name for these items. And at the same time, there are some other tubes. See the 4-foot tube? We will actually be making it out of the 6-foot tube. So for that, there is a bill of materials set up. So I have the 4-foot tube. One of them is made out of a 6-foot tube. And we have a byproduct, a 2-foot tube, that's also made as part of the process. So let's go back now to the product listings. I can go back using these breadcrumbs here to go back through the menus. And let's look at the more complicated things. So for example, the fabricated part with a drawing, and then also the shelf itself. So this thing, it's a frame component, it's a shelf, and in here there's an attachment, it's a drawing. It's for production purposes, so in here it's a rudimentary one for this sample demo, of course, but it could be a more elaborate drawing. And this would be visible when this part goes into manufacturing. And let's see, there's a bill of material here. And so we're making 2 of these shelves per the drawing out of 1 of these steel sheets, 48 by 48 inch. And now let's look at the more complicated thing, the bigger assembly. The portable wheeled shelf assembly. So it's the whole thing in here without the bins. For that, let's look at the bill of material. Here it is. And in here I have many more components. So I have some tubes that go into it, the frame, shelves, and then more tubes, other ones. So there are some tubes that are fabricated, so they're bent. Let's look at the drawing for it. Some tubes are like this, they have an angle, and some other tubes are just straight. So many different components go into this in these quantities. Let's go back to the main menu here. And at this point, it would be good to go ahead and process a sales order. So we will see how a sale of goods propagates procurement of all the items and running of manufacturing, purchasing, making sure that all the things happen together consecutively, and how the accounting records are created for all of that.